Aloha! Welcome to another episode of Love What with Audrey Weilai, where I ask my friends and mentors what non-romantic love means to them. And today, my special guest is Henzo. Hi, Henzo. How are you?
Uh, Hi, Audrey. How are you?
Where are
All
you
good.
tuning in from?
I am calling from Bali. It's where I call home for the past 5 years. I'm lucky to be living on the island of the spirits.
Where are you from originally, and what took you to Bali, and what's keeping you there?
It's very relevant to the topic. So I am Egyptian. Both parents are Egyptians, born in Germany though. How did I end up in Bali? It's just a long journey, about 10 years of looking for. I still don't call it home, but what you call a place where you can actually feel comfortable to spend every single day, where you don't want to go anywhere necessarily. I've moved among 8 different countries, lived in almost long term in 4 or 5 of them are Turkey, Dubai, Oman, and then now Bali. And it's sort of like at a certain moment, I was in between two places, between Dubai and Oman, and it was COVID. And I landed 10 days before COVID in Bali, and I got locked in. And 8 months later, I managed to leave Bali. And when I left, I realized I actually found what I've been looking for, a place where it combines a very deep sense of nature, culture, and adventure, which are the three things that I love the most in my life. So when I left, I realized like, why would I live somewhere else when I already found what I'm looking for? So I came back to Bali.
You lead tours when you're in Bali. And what kind of a tour?
I kept on looking for a better place than the word tour. I like to use the word experiences now,
Hmm.
which is more relevant to what we are trying to do. The idea is that we've been for a while as humans since the 70s. We got really busy with the concept of corporate and commercialism and with capitalism taking over after the fall of communism. We've become really materialistic in how we approach life, and everything has become an exchange of resources sort of thing. So it's like I'll give you my money, I give you my time, then I expect from you money, or I give you my money, then I expect
Yeah.
from you service. Our life became very transactional, and then we missed these moments where we take a minute to just deepen our understanding of why we are here and what we are doing here, who is around us, and what are they doing, and what is their stories. Because every individual you cross paths with has a story, and every place you pass by has a story to tell. And that's where I started creating these experiences. What would happen if we take a minute, each one of us, out of our very busy, technically busy schedules, and connect with everything that is around us and connect with everyone that is around us? That started about 10 years ago. Within these 10 years, I realized, okay, there are three things that when you do, you can put your monkey mind to rest, and you are connecting deeply with something that is bigger than you. Call it the divine, call it God, call it spirituality, call whatever you call it. And these three things are just the three words I just mentioned earlier, which are, if I connect with nature, there's that moment when you realize I'm so small and this thing is much bigger than I am. And then when I connect with culture. So when I connect with people and their deeper indigenous roots and in their areas and doing what they've been doing for thousands of years, I take a minute for my monkey mind to relax and I deepen it. And then the third thing, when I'm in adventure, if you're jumping off a cliff or you are underwater or you are on a hike, it's very rare for you that your mind will keep on talking. You're so much into the moment and you're so scared for your life that it doesn't allow you to take a minute to keep this loud brain talking. So that's what I do. I curate nature and cultural experiences that are mostly led by local guides.
The way we travel nowadays feed a lot into capitalism and the experiences you create. It's quite different than other tours that I've been on. Can you say more about that? Because it was very intentional.
So maybe you share your experience a little bit, and then I can add to that.
Yes. Well, the first time I went to Bali was last July. And as soon as I got there, it felt like Bali didn't want me there. And I had a series of physical, mental, and emotional experiences that was very clear. It wasn't the time for me to be there. But before I left, I was able to meet you and join you during one of the waterfall hikes. And that was the most beautiful moment on that trip where I really felt one in nature and felt really small. And uh, I just felt like I was being cradled by Mama Bali,
Yeah,
and it wasn't just a normal sporty hike.
that's what I hope to do, but I see it like you said, everyone they come and they receive what they are supposed to receive. We don't really control people's experiences. People come to experience what they're supposed to experience. That's why I say I curate the journey itself. I say, okay, we're gonna go from this waterfall to this village, and then we're gonna spend some time in these local houses, and then from this village we're gonna go to this beach because I imagine that this waterfall is beautiful and this village is nice and that beach looks beautiful. That's in our head when we are planning these tours. But once you get there, you realize no, it's actually the person who has a fear of water is standing side by side the person whose courage is enough and will start singing and they've been missing their voice next to the person who are releasing some traumas or something under the waterfall, or the person who is going to be very connected to the cultural village and will feel like that person that they meet in the village is their lost long lost soul brothers or sisters, and they connect with them deeply, or so on and so forth. And you go through that and then you realize, okay, so it wasn't originally just a tour that is curated for people to just experience a waterfall. No, you realize it's an individual journey of some sort. And the more I've been putting things together, the more I've let go of the organizing bit. I know that it's going to be an individual experience, and then every single time different people come to different experiences and they receive what they're supposed to receive, and every time I'm just there as an observer and I go like, wow, that was so beautiful what they just went through. And even if I planned that, it wouldn't have worked, so that we put together this uh, plan or idea of a sequence of activities, but actually what happens is always beyond our expectations or our plan.
Can you say more about your observation of your friends being in class in Bali, learning to write Sanskrit on the palm leaves? You said that was kind of mind-blowing.
There are two aspects always of interacting with local culture. Like imagine that you are standing in between the foreigners, which is what I do for the past 10 years. You're standing between the foreigner and the local individual, right? The local guide. They've been in their village for their entire life. This is all what they know. And after a while, by the age of 30 or the age of 25, they start getting bored. They're like, are we going to eat the same food? I see people on TikTok traveling the
Mm.
world, and I'm still stuck in this small village. I eat the same food. I live in the same house. We talk to the same people. We speak only one language. I'm learning English. Why am I still in this place? And they start getting bored with their village, and they want to move and leave their village. So there's this aspect of it. And then you have the foreigner who left their house and they went to a place and they booked a hotel that looks like every other hotel around the world. And they're eating also avocados for breakfast and toast, and they're drinking matcha and so on, like they would have normally back home.
Yes.
And you have these two, and they are always sort of interacting, but they're not really interacting. You either see the local being a waiter for the foreigner, or the foreigner just crossing by the path of the local and not even seeing them. So what I do is I bring the foreigner into the local village and I put them there together. And then when they are there and they have to interact with each other now, something very magical happens. The local
Yes.
starts seeing that actually what I have is not very boring, to the extent that there is that foreigner left their country and they have all this technology that I believe I want to have in my life, and cars and malls, and they come to my village and they're impressed with my village and what I do, and I'm just feeding them my food and showing them my house, and then they're impressed with that and they're loving it, and they say, ah, you're doing this, you're eating that, oh, you're cutting the vegetables this way, oh my god, you're connected, you're so lucky. And I'm like, I haven't been feeling lucky for the past 15 years of my life. And then you have the foreigner on the other hand who went like, wait a second. So what I have in my life has been very monotonous, but actually I didn't know that there is that much depth in life, and there is this completely different dimension of individuals who have been living completely different than
Mm,
how I live. Because also the people that travel are typically the privileged ones that can afford travel. People who've been working in a capitalistic system, living in a city, and buying Starbucks in the morning and going to offices. So when they walk into like, there's been an individual that's exactly my same age that has been living a completely different life than me, that have different aspirations, have different life. Why don't I integrate
mm,
that perspective into my life? And this is the magic that happens. So one of these examples is the lontan writing, like the palm leaf writing that you mentioned earlier. The palm leaves, hmm, it's the paper on which all the historical scripture of Bali has been written. They're not written anywhere else. They haven't been translated to papers.
mm,
They are not written in books. Only these palm leaves have these ancient religious scriptures of Bali. And it's written in something
mm.
called Sanskrit Balinese or Sanskrit Bali. If nobody can read this paper or write it anymore, the old scripture of Bali will be lost. So now we have Bali heading into modernization, and it's becoming part of the Republic of Indonesia, where the first language is Indonesian language, not the Balinese. So they're not typically needing to study Sanskrit Bali. Hence, if they continue studying in school only and not studying Sanskrit Balinese on the side, and they forget how these letters are being written, they're gonna forget their history. They're gonna forget their scripture, their spiritual writing. So I bring in foreigners to these villages to learn how to write on the palm leaves. So the locals would go like, wait a second, these papers actually have a value. I actually need to maintain that, because if I don't maintain it, the foreigners are not gonna come and pay me money to buy these documents anymore. So you see what's
Yes.
happening. So then they're gonna remember to write it down. And then if they remember how to write it and read it, then they're gonna maintain their heritage. If they don't do that, you lose a history that, like me as Egyptian, we lost how to write our language and our papyri. We lost our history. If you lost the documented scripture, then you lose your history, your heritage, your ceremonies, and your rituals. So that's basically what we did. On the other hand, for the foreigners, they go like, "Oh my God, I'm contributing to the sustainability of the heritage of Bali by just me being here, spending one day and learning how to write this paper." So they go like, "Whoa!" So that's basically one of the examples of these local authentic experiences.
Yeah, I experienced that. I went back in March and had a tour with Wayan's son Krishna. He walked me through the village, and it was really beautiful to see how they lived as a family and also as a community, where I've been traveling and living on my own for decades. It was really beautiful to witness.
Krishna is a kid. He's, I think, now 24. He studied tourism. Typically, every Balinese that is like Krishna, by the age of 21, they will leave Bali and go work on a cruise ship. It's typically a 1 year diploma, and then you have 6 months in college and 6 months on the job in a hotel or something. And then after, you would go on a cruise ship to make some good money. If it weren't for the project of his
Hmm.
father, of YM, the Fireflies initiative that we have in Bali, and that actually part of it is the local authentic tour experiences. Krishna would have left his village and would have been now on a cruise ship somewhere in the world, like his dad did for
Oh,
14 years,
that's
like
really
while
hard work. Yeah.
yeah. So and then, so if it weren't for this tour, it wouldn't have Krishna wouldn't have been staying in his village. Now Krishna is very integral part of the project. He's an heir to the throne of the Fireflies project now, and he's getting positioned as such. He's actually willing to stay, and he's now thinking to get married in the village. To see the difference into
Oh, that's
now now
beautiful.
you have a young man who's 24 years old, who's willing to take care of the land of his grandparents and the project of
Yeah.
his dad. That doesn't happen around the world. That's why I started this project. All these youngsters, they leave their villages and they move abroad. Then the villages get empty and the land dies out, and there are no cultural initiatives. And what happens is most of the lands in the end ends up in the hands of business people, and most of the kids end up in the cities not making ends meet and having very poor jobs and getting into depression, like we know all around the world now. So you see how just a change can happen very simply and very easily by just deepening and loving and searching for the true love of what you're doing.
Since you're talking about love, can you say more? about what non-romantic love means to you.
Like I come from in Egypt from
Mm,
Sufism. So in Sufism, love is actually the divine. It's that force that moves the universe. And all what
mm,
we're doing here as individuals, we are just in the process of letting go, detaching, and purifying. What is our identity? Who we are? What do we think we are doing here? And you're letting go of all that. Whenever you attach yourself to something like, I love this motorbike, you have to let go of it. I love where I live, you let
mm,
go of it. I love where I Bali. No, you keep on detaching from this. Whatever you associate yourself with, you keep on detaching. And then you have to, on the other hand, purify yourself until your heart starts opening. And then you start touching this light in your heart. You're doing that journey of purification. Purification means every single thing you encounter, you're encountering it from the purest form you could do. So no lies, no hatred, no jealousy, but also there is kindness, there is purity, there is acceptance, tolerance. And the more you do that, and the more you care, the more you let go, then your heart starts opening. And then when your heart opens, we call like it becomes sort of a portal, and this portal
mm,
takes you straight to connecting to something that is way bigger than you. It's the purest form of it all, that pure light that you don't see outside of you. It's not something that you see with your eyes, but it's something you feel so deep on your open heart. That small connection that you have of light deep inside of you is actually the rhythm and the frequency of the entire universe. And this we call love.
mm.
That thing that you can feel so deep in your heart, but it's actually the fabric of the whole universe. And that's what the Sufi masters call love.
Wow, that's beautiful. And how do you live your daily life so you are honoring love and you are love?
I aspire to do that. Yeah. Because in my life, I've tried in my life to be always like that deep spiritual sort of person who speaks slowly and deepens everything they say and only connect and only feel. But I'm actually a very brainy person. I can make sense out of things. So I decided I'm gonna explain it to people, even if I don't every single day feel it. I have the I have the capacity to explain it. I realize when I explain it to others, I'm sort of explaining it to myself also. And when I'm explaining it to myself, I get it. And when my mind gets it, it gets out of the way. So when my
I
mind
see.
understands something, because the
Yeah.
mind wants to feed into the things it doesn't comprehend. And it keeps on telling you, I'm
Mm.
anxious. I don't know how to do this. What is my life purpose or whatever. But when you answer all the questions to your mind, the mind shuts down because you doesn't have any more food. Like you tell it, okay, it's like, oh, what you're thinking doesn't make any sense because, like I was telling you right now, like the mind would go like, what is my purpose of life? And then on the other hand, I tell it, you need to let go of the purpose of life. Where is home? Well, you need to let go of home. We are just visitors here. What is my, well, who is my mentor? Where there is nothing called a mentor or a guru. Let go of that. And then you keep on letting go of that. And then the mind will shut down. Like, okay, this is the boring conversation for me. So once the mind shuts down, the heart opens. And then when the heart opens and when you lead by the heart, there is nothing called how your day goes because when the heart leads, every day goes in its own way, but it's driven by that core, which is like core frequency of the heart. So it doesn't matter. So sometimes I would wake up in the morning and I would say, I need to be working today, for example. But then a friend of mine contacts me and say, I need your help with something. I would leave everything and go help a friend because that's what my heart would do normally. And by helping the friend, I feel so good. I didn't work, I didn't achieve anything, so the mind is not satisfied, but the heart is so happy, and then the heart is open more. So I felt more love. So it's like when you flow with the frequency of with that feminine, all engulfing frequency of the heart, you're in love, you're living love. Like what always the like what Rumi said is that don't seek love, but seek everything, every barrier between you and love that you have built between you and love. So it's like the idea is you're actually moving in
Mm.
your life. Love is there already. It's all engulfing you. It's within you and without you. You don't seek it or you don't have to do actions to reach to love. But if you're about to do an action, just remove the barrier that is between you and love. So if I wake up in the morning and say, I don't feel love, I need love, it's like, why are you not feeling it? There is a place that has love that you need to go to. It's already there, it's all around us and within us. For example, why am I not reaching to the garden outside my room? Well, because your glass and curtains are closed. The garden is always there. And there are people enjoying the garden and the pool outside, but it's you, the one that is closing the glass and closing the curtains. Just open the curtains and open the glass, and the garden will be right there. So that's how we deal with love. Love is the garden.
Yeah. And how come you like going on waterfall hikes so much? And what's the significance of the water purification?
So I had a very bad like downfall in like by 2010 or 2011. I had a very bad personal situation. My dad attempted suicide, and
Oh
I was
my
super
God.
down, and I didn't understand why we are here. Like, and what is the point of life? Also, like, if the person that have been living close by and they've been very confident with their life, they decided that their life is not that valuable. So why are we here? So I spent the next 10 years until 2020 trying to figure out what is it? What are we here actually for? I realized actually they are these infinite moments that make life worth living. I know that we've been studying since we're little, like you have to go through school and you have to be successful. And there is always that you go through the school year and only at the end of the school year you realize that you got these marks and you are successful. But life doesn't go this way. Life is not that linear. Life is actually of whether I'm in a moment of a deep moment of infinity or I'm not. This eternity moment, this eternal moment of love, I call them now. Whether I am bathing with divine love or I'm not. And it's almost an on-off button. You aim to increase these moments as much as possible. So in the beginning, I tried everything. I was for like 3 years just yes man. Anyone tells me do anything, let's go dancing, let's go dancing. Yoga, let's do yoga. Let's jump off a cliff, let's jump off a cliff. Let's do paragliding, sky jumping. So yeah, let's do it. I was like out on it all. Let's travel tomorrow. Psychedelic, drugs. Like I'm in it with you in everything. I sort of became addicted of these deep moments of connection. Then I started realizing that it takes me so much effort to reach to these moments. I have to travel to the Philippines, drive for 10 hours, and then take a boat, and then take a small plane, and then only arrive at an island that is super beautiful. Then I realize the more and more I'm getting closer to it, it's not that actually. It's just a moment of you closing your eyes and sometimes just meditating. Maybe you can meditate for 5 minutes and reach to that deep moment of connection without needing to take a plane or anything. There is a moment of immense deep connection that will stay with you, that its impact of it will stay with you for days or hours, and there are moments that will stay with you for 5 minutes. So you could be meditating super nicely in your room, only on your bed. You don't need to even leave your bed. Meditate for like an amazing 1 hour, but you walk out and somebody hits your bike and you go like, and you lost already the 1 hour. But there are moments that if you actually have that deep connection, you would walk out, and if somebody hits your bike, you're gonna go like, "Ah, fine, brother, you can, it's okay, you can go away." Even the moments of deep connection, their impact, that moment of deep love, they are measured by their higher the frequency of theirs, the longer it stays. So if it's a big bang, then it stays. And that's what I experienced in waterfalls. I realized because I always say the waterfall is just one example of the immense power of nature. Because when you are at a waterfall, you've done a lot. You've already walked because you have to go down to reach the waterfall. There are always nature around the waterfall because there's so much water and there's so much nature around it. So you either find a very beautiful wall or very beautiful trees or vines. Then the way how the
Yeah.
waterfalls in itself has this immense power of the elements of nature, like water, but it's very powerful. Then you interacting with the waterfall hits you so deeply, and I've seen thousands of way of interaction with the waterfall for different people. You can enter, you can touch it, you can just sit and watch it. Once you interact with it and you enter in it, there's something that happens in your alignment of your energy and alignment of your frequency, which I call purification. Purification means neutralizing all the energy field or your aura, and the water gushing with this power, carrying all the energy from different villages and all that, and falling in that free fall, hitting you. This impact neutralizes your energy all of a sudden. That high frequency of energy that you get from being under a waterfall can stay with you for a week. So that's why I do it once a week. I keep on going. On a Tuesday, I start feeling I'm agitated and like the life is getting on me. I go under the waterfall and it takes me another week. I realize it's not only, it's more impactful than this. And nature has that power. Nature has this power of when you connect with nature, it gives you this very powerful neutralization, purification, this deep love connection that stays for so long. Because nature is a form of love. It's a manifestation of love in its own way, the manifestation of the divine in the in the element.
Totally agree. Are there any exciting projects you're working on or any experiences you're planning?
We have this Wednesday and Thursday, we have an overnight experience in Bali. It's going to be a mix of lakes, hot springs, waterfalls, and beach time. It's going to be very unique. And we have a very beautiful
Mm.
seven souls going on this experience. I'm planning in in August. We're planning a very unique experience in Sulawesi, one of the islands of Indonesia. Gonna be very. It's
Yes.
gonna be yeah, 7 days or 8 days is gonna be something really big. Where
Mm.
when you go on these days, like you have a container of experiences for 1 week that is very mind blowing. Always. Last time we saw whale sharks in Sumbawa. It was a very humbling
Yes.
experience, and this time will be caves, pristine water
Mm.
lakes and waterfalls. Is going to be something super unique. Can't wait. Also on the 19th of July in Bali, in Dragon Tea Temple, we are working on a Sufi experience where people enter into a music prayer formance experience that involves body movement, music, and spoken words. And it's just like a journey through which you go through what we call a Sufi journey, what the Sufi masters used to experience themselves when they sit in their own remembrance circles. We are replicating that, but in a more modern way, using modern music and modern body movement and spoken words in English. So these are the things
Wow,
that are
that
keeping me
sounds great.
busy.
And what's the key for you to be a facilitator so you're holding this safe container and people can have their individual experience at the same time also connecting with the group?
Group connection happens naturally, right? So group connections, it either happens or not. You either like someone or you don't like them, or either you feel social or you don't. I never take part in whether people like each other and they become friends, or some others they don't like each other and sometimes they fight. Not my part. But holding the space for between the people and the nature is what I try to do as much as possible. It's just making sure that you open a pure container. I don't enter with any expectations or wanting the people to experience anything in specific. My goal is to always making sure that I am a pure bamboo that this air is passing through, and I'm not projecting myself on anyone or anything. So I'm always experiencing my own journey as a purification journey. And the purer I can do it, the better the experience for others are all the time. I try to always isolate myself from individual experiences, but I try to be there holding a pure container of myself as much as possible so that others feel safe and experience it themselves. Because sometimes we're in local villages, and of course, when women come along, they feel uncomfortable or unsafe when men are a lot around.
Yeah.
Especially they don't speak the same language. So I try as much as possible to make sure that they are staying safe in a pure container. And if that happens to them, then their experience is usually much better.
Well, I felt very safe with you during our waterfall journey. Thank you very much.
And then I'm lucky that,
Mm.
yeah, that's one of my divine blessings to have me feeling safe.
When I was in Ubud as a tourist, I got a sense that the expats community didn't like tourists. Maybe I'm reading into it. Since you live there, could you say more?
Yeah, we don't like tourists.
Okay, so I'm not making it up. I never
I mean,
asked anyone directly. It's
any
just a
expat,
sense I got.
no, any expat community anywhere in the world will not like the tourists of the same place. That's very normal because they don't get the same depth that you understand of the place. They don't get the negative side of the place. They only see the outer shell, and they're just causing so much traffic and taking so much resources and causing the prices to surge. So it's very normal for you not to like them as an expat. It's not Ubud specific, but does it happen in Ubud? Yes, it does. We definitely don't like the tourists coming around. But for me, as a person who works in tourism, of course, tourists for me are business, but the right tourists, because I don't work with everyone. I work with the ones who are conscious enough and they're coming to look for ways that they can actually keep the place as they found it, not trying to see the place
Mm.
in the way where they came from. Because sometimes I find people coming and lining up on a pizza store, for example. I'm like, why did you travel all the way to Southeast
What?
Asia just to eat pizza? It's not very good for the economy, and and the balance and the sustainability of the place. And I see the markets changing, tourists becoming more and more wise and conscious about what they're looking for.
And you do tours in Egypt, Oman, and Saudi as well, right?
Yes, that's why you will hear me always saying we do. I have business partners and guides all over the world. We have an office in Oman and an office in Egypt, from which we manage every everywhere in the world except Western Europe and the Americas. So we do tours all over Africa, Central Asia, and South Asia and Southeast Asia. It's mostly where our business is in the Middle East. So I have colleagues that
Hmm.
help me. I'm looking only after the Asia, the Asia business currently is the area I love the most.
Okay. If I go to Egypt, what's one thing you would recommend that I do or experience?
Having an Egyptian with you.
Okay.
Egypt is not a backpacking destination, and this is what I always tell to everyone. Don't go to Egypt as a backpacker like you go everywhere else in the world. It's going to be a terrible, terrible experience for you. Pay a little bit more, have a local guide, and we can recommend to you nice guides that will take care of you and are not going to be opportunistic or pushy. And these ones are going to make your experience completely different than to go on your
Okay.
own. Egypt is a place that has been doing tourism for over 150 years. So because we've been doing tourism for so long, so we had the full cycle of tourism. So what happened is that a lot of the people see tourists as a bag of money passing by or an opportunity for them to put food on their table. So sometimes they can get pushy, especially in the touristic areas. If you would go to Egypt, you would have to go to the pyramids or you would have to go to the main temple. And all these areas are becoming super touristic and they're becoming uncomfortable for tourists. So if you have the right Egyptian by your side, they're gonna take care of you and make sure you are well protected from all these hagglers and hustlers. And they're gonna and then you can get to see the real Egypt. The one thing that you need to see when you go to Egypt is the Great Pyramid of Giza for sure. I know it's so cliche, but there isn't any building in the history of humanity that is as good as that building. So I still recommend the Great Pyramid, what we call the Pyramid of Khufu.
And were you able to go inside as well?
Yes, you're able to go until the King's Chamber, which is again another masterpiece, granite slabs that are like 5 tons up to 20 or 30 tons that are stacked right next to each other in a room that is hanging midway inside the Great Pyramids.
Oh my goodness.
It is some,
Wow.
it is something very impressive to watch.
What about Bali? If someone goes there for the first time, is there one thing that you would recommend?
Make sure you get out of the tourist pockets of Bali. Don't read any blogs. Don't watch any YouTube videos about Bali. Just go and experience it through the eyes of the locals, and make sure you don't get stuck in Seminyak, Canggu, Ubud, or Uluwatu because that's gonna be very boring for you, and you're gonna end up saying it's a very ugly, busy place. 70% of Bali is a very beautiful, green, nature perfect, cultural rich place that is breathtaking, full of amazing people. So don't
Hmm,
get
I
stuck
agree.
into what the bloggers recommend because bloggers are people like you who come here for 2, 3 weeks and they think they've figured it out all and they want to write and this is their business. But
I so don't have it figured out.
yeah, just we've been here for a while and we
Mm.
can tell you that there are places in Bali that are very worth seeing. And Bali is not a very touristic place that you like you think. Most of Bali is a very empty, very beautiful island. So try to go to more local authentic experience.
Is there anything else you would like to share before we wrap up?
I'm very linked to people like living their life and travel specifically. It's my passion in life is that if you are planning to leave your country and go abroad, make sure that you set a right intention before leaving the place. You are not just leaving to take a break from your current life. Make sure that you come back learning a new lesson. Or the world has many lessons to teach us. And make sure that when you leave and when you come back, something has left its footprint on you, and you've not come back the same person that's left because then it doesn't make sense. Why have you put up with all the effort of travel and all the jet lags and the change of food and the stomach disruption? If you do it, make it worth it and make sure that you actually have seen something different and you've touched someone's heart and someone has touched your heart and you felt love.
My favorite part is I ask the guest to leave a question for me to contemplate on or for the viewers do you have a question for us?
When is a moment when you felt so deep love that is not romantic in your life?
Thank you. How can people contact you if they're interested in any of the experiences?
So Instagram, so it's Henz, like my name but without the O, Henz Stories, like the
Yeah.
rest of the world. So HENZTORIES. I'm active on Instagram and I can put you in touch with Ridge Adventure, our platform for tours, or I can put you in touch with our Sufi journeys, everything, and I'll be happy to take you from there.
Thank you so much, Henzo.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Audrey, for taking the
Aloha.
time and the very beautiful question. Aloha. Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Audrey.